Freepik just launched the best AI workflow tool that we have ever seen. We're taking a look at some brand new AI video models, and interactive video may be a part of the future of filmmaking, but it's gonna be here a lot sooner than you think. Welcome to your AI film news of the week. I wanna kick things off by saying thank you so much to the folks at No Film School for covering the launch of our films that were created in partnership with Adobe for Adobe Max. We really appreciate the coverage. Now, let's get to the news. So there are a lot of different directions for us to go this week, but let's kick things off with the announcement from Kling. They just launched the ability for you to upload start frames and end frames directly in version 2.5. This means you get all of the quality improvements from Kling 2.5, and now you can control where the camera goes. But you don't want to hear this guy just talking about it. Let's hop into the tool to see how to use it. So I'm on the Kling website here, and I'll go ahead and select Try It Now. I should note that these features are not available in all of the AI video aggregators, so I do recommend just going to the Kling website if you want to pull this off. And let's go to the video section over on the left. So you can see we have start frame here and end frame. So let's grab our images here. So right off the bat, we have this first image here, this like cinematic shot of this guy looking at a blue orb. We created that shot inside of Midjourney. And for our second shot, we wanted to, just cut to like a wide shot of him like presenting the orb to an alien character, and we basically want to interpolate between both of those shots. Well, we have this second shot here that we created using Nano Banana. You can, of course, use Seedream. You could use Midjourney if you wanted to, but we find that that combination of going to Midjourney for the base image and then animating and getting other angles using tools like Nano Banana or Seedream works very well. So let's go ahead and grab our second frame here, and we will set that as our end frame. And for our prompt, we'll say a man holds up a blue orb. The camera orbits to reveal he's talking to an alien. And our video model is the 2.5 turbo model. Now we'll keep our sound effects turned on, and the cool thing about working inside of Kling is you have this button that allows you to change the outputs to up to 4 outputs at a time, which is really helpful. It's all about iteration. It's probably going to take you at least 4 generations to get what you're looking for. So let's go ahead and click generate. So after about 3 minutes, we have a few different video clips here. Let's take a quick look. Okay, I have no idea what he said there, but it looks pretty dang good. Let's take a look at number 2. That movement honestly looks pretty dang good. Kling is really good at interpolating between these frames. Let's take a look at our third example here. Okay, and as you can see, it's actually not too shabby. Now, we of course have to compare this against Google Veo to see which one is actually better at doing first frame and last frame. So let's take a quick look at both examples here. So this is the generation that we have from Kling. Really dynamic movement. There does seem to be a lot of resolution there. It's in 1080p, and it feels like it's in 1080p. Now, there are a few problems still with some jitteriness, so I wouldn't say this is a 10 out of 10 as good as if you actually created the visual effects or live action shot of this, but it's pretty darn close. We're really not far away, and I think that the output looks very good. If you iterated just a few times, I think you would get something that could be usable inside of a professional project. And here is the output from Google Veo.
You know what this is.
Indeed.
The heart of a dying star.
Okay, so Google Veo intelligently understands the scene better than Kling. And I should note that Veo has lip syncing, the character has a bit more weight in his movement, and just all around, you can tell that Veo is almost thinking more than Kling. It's just the output quality still is not quite as good as Kling. So I still think that Veo is a fantastic all-purpose AI tool. It's just we have some resolution issues that we really need to overcome in order to use Veo more and more inside of our creative work. Now, I wanted to do another quick example of this tool in action. So I have frame number 1 here of this robot kind of looking around a city. And then we have this second frame of this person hiding behind the car. This was all generated directly inside of Midjourney. So here is the output from Kling. Not too shabby, honestly, did a really good job. And here's the same output from Google Veo. Awesome. So again, as you can see, I think that Google Veo is a bit more intelligent in understanding what movements should be present inside of the generation, but the quality, the resolution, the fidelity inside of Kling is definitely better. If you're enjoying this video, be sure to like and subscribe. It helps the channel a lot. All right, so let's move on to the next bit of news that I'm really excited to share with you. So the team at Freepik has released a brand new feature called Freepik Spaces. It's very similar to other announcements that we've seen from other tools on the market. Essentially, it's like a canvas that also has a node-based workflow directly inside. So it's a mixture between a canvas feature or a whiteboard feature like you're probably familiar with inside of tools like Adobe Firefly, but also with that node experience that you're seeing using ComfyUI or Weavy, or even the brand new workflow feature inside of Runway. Everybody wants to be the best node-based aggregator on the market, but I actually think Freepik is in position to do an incredible job. Let me show you how to use the new tool, and I'm gonna get into the nitty-gritty details that I think you need to know to create a really helpful workflow inside of your creative production pipeline. My hope is that by the end of this quick little demo, you'll have a workflow that you can use inside of your professional video projects. So to use Freepik Spaces, all you have to do is go to the Freepik website and click on, you guessed it, the Spaces button. So we'll go ahead and select that. And for our example, I'm going to create a new space. I should point out they have a bunch of templates of different spaces that you can check out. They're pretty cool, but I want to kind of show you from scratch how to do this. So let's go ahead and select a new space. Now, the thing that makes Freepik a little different from other node-based workflow tools on the market is it also is a whiteboard or a canvas that you can bring other assets into, even if you are not going to be using those assets. So you can use it as like mood board or inspiration, and also have it perform certain utility tasks using a lot of the nodes inside of the tool. So first things first, let's bring in our assets. So I have some image examples here. These were created inside of Midjourney as a spec advertising project, basically kind of like a grounded in nature ad. You can see it all has a very specific color grade and style. And we'll just go ahead and bring those directly inside of Freepik. Okay, now by default, the images that you bring in are going to be laid out in a very strange way. I don't really know why they default to that, but if you hit this arrange button at the very top, boom shakalaka, it makes it much more presentable. So let's talk about the actual nodes and what they can intelligently do for you. They have a few different nodes here. If you click plus, you can see we have a text node, image generator, video generator, an assistant that can look at the media assets and give you feedback. And then we have an image upscaler. So let's think about a very simple workflow. Let's say that we have creative assets in the style of the commercial that we're working on, but we want to generate a new shot that has the same color grading, the same character, the same general feeling of the mood board, but we want it to be in a completely different location. Well, the cool thing is using this workflow inside of Freepik, you can go from mood board to final video all in one place. So let's build it together. So first things first, we need to have an image generator. So I'll go ahead and bring in our image generator node here. We'll zoom in. And you can see we have a spot for a prompt to be inputted, and then we have a spot for reference images. So let's start with our reference images. Let's say that we want to use our mood boards here as inspiration for the image that will be generated from this node. Well, all you have to do is select the image, and I'm going to zoom in here so you can see it. There's a little image icon, and we'll grab that and connect it to our image node. And let's go ahead and do that for a few other images here. I'll just go ahead and drag and drop. You would pick and choose the right images depending on the output that you're looking for. I'm going to be just super quick about it. We don't have to be as specific with what we're pulling in, but if you had specific creative direction and you were wanting to pull from different images, you totally can do that. And because we're going to be using Nano Banana specifically, you can input up to 8 different images, which is really cool. So now that we've connected our images to the image generator node, it's time to bring in text. We basically need to prompt this image generator to create a specific image. And so it's very important to have a text node where you can define what you want to see. So the text nodes are very easy to use. You have the output of the text and it connects to the input of the image generator. We have this little caret here that tells us everything is connected. So let's type in our prompt here. I'm going to say a woman wearing a red dress walks at the beach. And we'll say, because we are going to be using Nano Banana and it is intelligently pulling from those mood board images, we're going to say create an image of a woman wearing a red dress walking at the beach. Use the same color grading and style as the uploaded images. So we're being specific about what we want to see from the uploaded reference images. And inside the image generator node, we're going to change this to 16 by 9. Let's make sure we're using Google Nano Banana and not any of the other image generators that are on here. What's really cool is it actually will gray out other image generators based on the fact that you have reference images. So it doesn't allow you to use a model that doesn't support reference images, which is really helpful. And for the number of generations, you can do as much as you want. I'm going to select 4 and go ahead and click run. Okay, cool. So we have 4 different images here and it looks really good. The cool thing is it feels very much like it lives in the style of the uploaded reference images. And that's all because we used Nano Banana to generate the output. So let's say that we like one of these images and now we want to upres it. Well, the cool thing is inside of Freepik, they have an upres node. So I'm gonna right click here and we'll select image upreser and we'll zoom in here. This is a Magnific image upreser. That's the best tool to use. Magnific's new version 2 precision upscaler is the best on the market. I think it's doing an incredible job. So let's select one of these images here. I'm going to select the output of this first image and connect it to the input of our upscaler. Okay, cool. And we're going to set this to multiply times 2. The reason why we're upresing using Magnific instead of taking that image and directly creating the video is you want to have more resolution because any artifacting, any errors inside of that image will be reflected in the final video. Now, of course, depending on the model you're using, it may affect it more or less than other models, but it's just good practice to always upres your images before you animate them. So we'll go ahead and select run. Okay, cool. So now we have our upresed image. It's 2600 pixels wide and 1500 pixels tall. So let's animate this shot here. So exactly the same way that you created a node for your image generator, we're going to create a node for our video generator. So let's right click and we will go to video generator. And you can see there's more input options here as well. So let's go ahead and select our models. So typically when I'm working with these tools, I like generating a few times in VO, maybe one time in Kling. And then there's other incredible tools like Minimax. You can go over to the tools page over at Krea Refuge to see our recommended video tools. So let's select the output of our image. This is the upresed image, and we'll set it as the start frame. So you can see we have a start frame node here. Now for our text prompt, what we're going to do is we are going to create a new text node. Let's drag it over here, and this will be our video prompt. So we'll say a handheld shot of a woman walking along the beach. We'll grab our text output and connect it to the text input. So there you go. So you do have the ability, just so you know, to create in frames as well, and you could do what we talked about earlier inside of this video, but it's entirely up to you. You don't have to. For this example, I'll just keep it as the input image. Now, what I also really like about this workflow inside of Freepik is if you ever want to duplicate a module. So in this example, like I said, I want to generate about, let's say, we'll say 2 different generations from Google VO 3.1 with the sound effects, 16:9. We'll say 4 seconds, which is totally fine. And then you can just hit this duplicate button here and it'll create an entirely new video generator box, but we can just go in here and change the settings. So we can go in and select Kling 2.5. You can up the number of generations. You can change the resolution, the duration, all of that stuff. And then you want to create another one, just click duplicate. Boom, easy peasy. In fact, I'm going to move it over here. Just like that. So again, if you want to change the video model, we can change that to, let's do Minimax 2.3, which is my current favorite one. And of course, you can change the settings. So when you are ready to run this, all you have to do is select and click play. Just like that. Easy peasy. My only critique of the workflow tool at this point is I wish you could just select all of the outputs and right click and run them just like you can inside of Runway's workflow tool. So just a bit of an oversight, I think, from the Freepik team. I would imagine that that functionality is probably coming very soon. Okay, and after a few minutes, we have our video clips here. So you can see, you can pick and choose whichever one you want. The cool thing is you can select them all, right click, go ahead and download them directly to your machine. And that's all with just clicking a few buttons. So let me show you why this is so cool. Let's say that you wanted to generate a completely new shot here. So let's say that instead of a woman walking at the beach, we wanted, let's just say, a dog walking at the beach. The cool thing is you don't have to set all of this up all over again. You can simply run it again. So for example, we can hit run here, just like this, and we can run the prompt. And because we are using the unlimited version of Freepik, which is not crazy expensive, you have the ability to generate the images incredibly quickly and for an unlimited number of times directly inside of the workflow. And there you go. You have 4 different images. And then if you wanted to go in and up-res, all you have to do is click the run button here with Magnific to run Magnific on that image. You can change in your text prompt and then you can run the video model again directly inside of Freepik. So it really streamlines the process. And this is just scratching the surface. You have the ability to do consistent products and characters, styles. This is a very helpful workflow, and you have the ability to share these workflows with other people. So if you have creative collaborators, this workflow is crazy helpful. And I should note that, not to be outdone, the team at Krea also announced that their Krea Nodes feature will be coming out very soon. There's been a few codes circling online to give you some beta access to the tool. So if you've had a chance to check it out, be sure to let us know. Now, I do want to let you know that our Black Friday sale here at Curious Refuge is going to open up on November 26th at 11 a.m. Pacific time. We're giving $75 off any course or bundle at Curious Refuge, and that also includes our brand new AI screenwriting course. So if you've ever wanted to be a part of the world's biggest AI filmmaking community and learn the exact workflows that we use to train the world's biggest studios, we would love to have you inside the training. We've also been doing multiple weekly digital meetups in case you aren't able to attend one of our in-person meetups. And it's always just so fun to meet the incredible people who are very accomplished and ambitious inside our program. The team at Google announced a brand new feature inside of Flow that I think is really helpful for filmmakers. Essentially, they allow you to control not only the camera position, but also camera movements with some presets directly inside of the tool. let me show you how to use it. To get started, all you have to do is go to the Google Flow website, and let's go ahead and create a brand new project. Now for this example, I'm going to use frames to video. You know me, I like using image to video. And let's go ahead and select that start frame image of the guy holding the blue orb from earlier. So let's say a handheld shot of a man looking at a blue orb. He says, this is what we've been looking for. Okay, cool. And for our model, we'll select Google VO 3.1 quality, and we'll do 4 generations and go ahead and hit generate. And after about a minute, we have 4 different generations here. Let's take a look.
This is what we've been looking for.
I have no idea why the orb started smoking there.
This is what we've been looking for.
Love the drone sound effect in the background. That's pretty cool. Let's take a look at shot number 3.
This is what we've been looking for.
We got an extra this there, and let's take a look at our final generation.
This is what we've been looking for.
Heck yeah, there's the hero shot. Okay, so to use this new camera feature inside of VO, all you have to do is go to the Edit button, and you'll see we have camera position and camera motion. So camera position will do exactly what the name implies. It just changes the position of the camera, almost like you're getting a multi-shot coverage of the exact same shot, which is pretty crazy. Like, we're using AI to get coverage of our scene that was generated using AI. It's just mind-blowing. But let's select a few different options here. So we'll say move down. And what we're saying is for the camera to move down, not the subject. So cameraman, please move down. Okay, you get the idea. And let's go ahead and hit generate. Now this does take a little while, so I'm going to show you a few of the other options here. So if you go to edit, we can go to camera motion. And again, there's a few different presets here for orbiting up and down and left and right. We can dolly in, and you also can dolly out as you zoom in to create a trombone shot. Alfred Hitchcock would be so proud of your filmmaking skills by just clicking a button, and you can select that and go ahead and hit generate. So I have a few different examples here from a video clip that I was working with earlier today. Here's the original clip.
This is the object we've been waiting for.
So moody. And here is the same shot where we moved the camera position to the right.
This is the object we've been waiting for.
Yeah, it did a pretty dang good job. Here's the same thing where we asked for the camera to go lower.
This is the object we've been waiting for.
Nice, it did an amazing job. And here's the same shot zoomed in.
This is the object we've been waiting for.
I don't know if that's zoomed in as much as it just changed the focal length of the lens, but it's still impressive nonetheless. So we also went in and selected that camera movement button, and the results are really impressive. So here is the orbit from right to left.
This is the object we've been waiting for.
I mean, that's nuts. It's the exact same performance, and you're getting all of the parallaxing that you would want to see from a really complex camera move. So incredible work there. Here's the exact same thing with an orbit down.
This is the object we've been waiting for.
And this is really, really powerful because it gives you the ability to have those subtle cinematography controls inside of the production process. If you go back to kind of film 101, whenever you orbit down and the person ends up being larger in the frame, what you're saying is they're in power. And so you don't have to go into Nano Banana and do first frame, last frame. You can use cinematography to pull that off with these default camera movements, which is really, really cool. And then finally, of course, we have to take a look at the trombone shot here. So here's the exact same scene.
This is the object we've been waiting for.
So your dream of creating an AI short film that is entirely trombone shots is now here. Now, the other quick news from Google that I think you should know about is inside of Flow, they have announced an image generator. It's basically Nano Banana. If you go to the menu icon here, you can see there is Create Image. You can just go to the plus icon and bring in reference images. So for example, we can take that shot of the man and we can say, create a wide shot where this man is holding up an orb in front of an alien. You also have the ability to bring in 2 other images. For some reason, they limit it to 3 inside of this specific platform, but Nano Banana can take up to 8 if you use other tools like Freepik, like we showed you earlier. Let's go ahead and hit generate. Okay, let's take a look at our results. So number 1 and number 2, I don't think that looks very good. Number 3, okay, now we're talking. I think we need to change the alien a little bit, but it doesn't look that bad. And then number 4, what's even happening here? Like the background, it looks like concept art. So not the best result there. I think we might need to workshop this prompt a little bit. But number 3, not too shabby. The team at LTX announced LTX Elements that allows you to take different elements like the character, the clothing, the objects, and put them together. Essentially, it's like a preset version of using Seedream or Nano Banana. I highly recommend checking it out. I'm not going to get into a specific demo of that tool because we've kind of used other tools that are very similar up to this point. But what I do want to talk about is a brand new video model called LTX2. Now, it's been out for a couple of weeks, but we've had the chance to test it over at Refuge, and there are a few things that you should know. The first is it generates footage natively in 4K, and you can create video clips up to 50 frames per second. It also includes audio inside of the video, but most importantly, it's going to be open source in the very near future. No word on if it's going to be the exact same LTX2 model that is available on their platform, but we'll find out very soon. But that's just a bunch of technical jargon. How does the tool actually work? Well, let me show you over on LTX website. So I'm here on the LTX website and let's go over to image to video. So let's bring in an image here of our robot character in the city. And let's drag and drop that into the image section. So for the prompt, we'll say a robot walks around a city, camera tracks with the robot as he walks. Now for the model, we'll select the Pro model because we want to get the best quality we can. Duration, we can keep at 8 seconds. The resolution can go all the way up to 4K, which is pretty cool. And for the frames per second, you can select up to 50, which is kind of awesome. So I'll go ahead and select that and go ahead and hit generate video. And after a few minutes, we have this video clip here. Honestly, it looks pretty good. There's a lot of weight behind the character, and it's one of the better video generations that I've seen from an AI tool in the last couple of days. So very good result from LTX. Here is the exact same shot with prompt from Veo, just as a quick comparison. So it's actually a somewhat similar result, but the artifacting on the Veo generation is way worse compared to LTX. Now, we did more extensive testing of LTX, and it's not necessarily in our top 3 AI video generators at this point whenever you compare it to the outputs that you're going to get from tools like Kling or Minimax, but it is very good. And the fact that this could go open source very soon is going to be a game changer in the world of AI video. If you want to see more information about which video model is best, be sure to check out the tools page over on our website. If you love ComfyUI, you're going to love the next 2 announcements I have here because there's 2 new modules that you can bring into ComfyUI that give you additional functionality. The first is an AI video stabilizer. It's very similar to the warp stabilizer effect that is inside of Adobe Premiere and Adobe After Effects, but it's a module inside of ComfyUI, so you just connect the node and it will stabilize everything. The quick tests that we've seen up to this point look really good, so I recommend checking it out. And there's also a new upscaler for video inside of ComfyUI that also looks very promising. Now, moving back over to video generation news, the team at Seedance has released Seedance 1.0 Pro Fast. So Seedance 1.0 Pro is one of our favorite video models here at Curious Refuge. This fast version is 3 times faster and 60% cheaper. And honestly, it's pretty good. So to do the demo, I'm gonna hop back over to our awesome Freepik workflow that we created earlier, and let's change the output video. Remember, we have already our inputted image and our prompt going to these video modules here. And let's change this from Minimax to Seedance 1.0 Fast. We'll keep it in 16:9, 6 seconds, and you can create up to 1080p. You also can do multiple generations. I'm not gonna worry about that. And let's go ahead and click run. Okay, and after a couple of minutes, we have our generation here. The first few seconds look pretty good. I don't know what's happening there at the end. It seems like the ground turns into the ocean. So kind of a weird generation there, but the fact that it's much faster, much cheaper makes it a very appealing tool. And I think it's really just an indicator that a lot of these models are going to continue to get faster. We've already seen that with Google VO 3.1 fast. We're probably going to see it with additional models very soon. We came across a tool this last week that looks really futuristic. It's called Motion Stream, and it basically allows you to create interactive videos where you actually just select parts of the frame and like the objects inside of the video move towards your mouse. It's pretty cool. There's a few different examples over on the Motion Stream website. I should note that it's not publicly available just yet. Of course, we are going to play around with this like crazy when it is, but a few different examples really, I think, illustrate what is possible with this tool. We have this elephant here where it basically just kind of walks off into the distance. We have this Renaissance dog and we control its arm, and then, you know, grabbing a cup of tea and moving it along, and the tea spills out everywhere. It's pretty cool. And I should note this entire thing is in real time. Real-time video generators have really been having a moment over the last couple of weeks. I think tools like this just really show us that a big part of the future of entertainment is going to have interactive capabilities. I don't know if audiences will generally want to just sit around and interact with their TV screen versus watching a story, but similar to video games, there might be this in-between entertainment experience that could be pretty interesting. And speaking of interactive content, the team at HeyGen has released HeyGen Live Avatars. They say that it's the most lifelike, interactive, scalable human avatars that we've seen up to this point. They're kind of billing it as the end of customer service as we know it. Well, let's take a look at this tool for ourselves to see how good it is. So I'm here on the Live Avatar website by HeyGen, and there's a few different avatars that we can talk with right now. Let's talk to this business coach guy here. All right, he seems pretty successful, and we'll say our name. There we go. So let's see how this goes.
Hey, Caleb, what's going on with your business lately? Any challenges or goals you're focusing on today? Absolutely. What's your current business situation? Any specific challenges or goals you'd like to tackle today?
Yeah, I'm curious if I can actually use you to help my business. I'm a little hesitant because I don't know about
Definitely,
how
I'm here to help. What specific areas of your business are you looking to improve or explore? I totally get that. Let's take it step by step. What's on your mind? Any particular challenges you're facing or goals you want to achieve?
Yes, I want to have a conversation with you without you interrupting me every 3 seconds.
Got it. I'll keep it brief. Please go ahead and share your thoughts and I'll listen.
So it sounds like he's finally ready to listen. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done with this tool. I don't think it's ready for prime time just yet, but that's not to say that live avatars won't be really impressive and realistic in the coming future. The team at Elevenlabs also announced a collaboration between Matthew McConaughey and Michael Caine, where they're actually allowing Elevenlabs to train models on their voice, and then other agencies and companies can license their voice directly from Elevenlabs. This obviously saves Matthew McConaughey the time from having to go into the studio and do an all right job. So it's kind of interesting that Elevenlabs is almost like an AI voice talent agency at this point. Now, there have been a few rumors in the generative AI world over the last couple of weeks that I think you should know about. The first is that Nano Banana 2 is coming very, very soon. So some quick information that you need to know. They're saying that the outputs will be in 4K. They'll take less than 10 seconds to generate, and there's going to be improvement in character consistency and text accuracy, all because allegedly it's using Google Gemini Pro 3 to intelligently create the images and understand what's happening. So it's Google's most advanced model yet. Now, there have been some pretty interesting examples online. These all come from Reddit, so take it with a grain of salt. This person said, make this into a faithful remaster for Spyro. And yeah, seems pretty good. This person had a huge sentence that they wanted to be spray painted onto the side of this wall, and it did a pretty good job. In this example, they asked for the actual formula to be figured out and drawn on the chalkboard. And you can see it did that. And I don't think that would have been possible unless it had Google Gemini 3 running the show. So doing a pretty good job. It colorized this manga and translated it, which is awesome. It drew a line for this ball's path based on the physics, which is cool. And then it went crazy and did a full solution on the whiteboard. And it also took this note and put everything together. So it's really good at solving puzzles, apparently. As soon as we have the ability to hop into Nano Banana 2, we'll do a full review. But we're crazy excited to hop into this tool. And not to be outdone, the team at Flux allegedly is launching Flux Pro 2 in the very near future. It will be available in an online platform and through API. The only caveat is allegedly it's only going to be 1200 pixels wide when you're generating in Flux 2, which would make the resolution not very helpful for a professional workflow. We also heard that the team at OpenAI, according to Forbes, is spending $15 million a day to run Sora 2. And we asked ChatGPT to do an analysis of how much power that equals, and it's basically the same as 500,000 homes. So the same power that you need to power 500,000 homes is powering Sora 2 on a day-to-day basis, according to OpenAI ChatGPT. So the other thing that is important to note is if they're spending $15 million a day, Sam Altman has also come out and said that an advertising model inside of Sora 2 is not enough to sustain the platform. To put it all in context, YouTube generates about $100 million a day in ad revenue. There's not a chance that Sora 2 could generate anywhere close to that. So OpenAI is operating at a loss. In fact, if the Sora 2 calculations are correct, it's pulling about a quarter of OpenAI's profits directly inside of the platform. So that would be a very expensive tool to keep up indefinitely if it's not making money. Now, there are a ton of creative AI events popping up around the world that you should know about. Of course, we host digital office hours at Curious Refuge every single week. You'll find a link below this video to see a full schedule. We have in-person meetups happening in Jakarta on November 19th, along with a Miami meetup happening on November 19th and a Denver meetup happening on December the 1st. We'll also be in Austin the first week of December, so hit us up if you're interested in hosting a meetup. And I should also note that you have until November 17th to submit your film or creative project for the Chroma Awards. They're branding it as the Olympics of Generative AI. So be sure to check out their website. I know they would love to have your project submitted. And that brings us to our AI films of the week. So the first film that I want to shout out is a Halloween film by Simon Meyer. It has this Frankenstein character in a really high concept piece. The visuals look very good, and I think he did an amazing job on the project. And the second project, sticking with that Halloween theme, is called Whatever Your Game by Chris Capel. This is one of the most clever and hilarious parody projects that we've seen up to this point. It was kind of a Nike commercial that felt very much like a Nike commercial with a twist at the end that I'm not going to reveal. but they did an amazing job with the storytelling. At the end of the day, storytelling is key, and Chris really knocked this project out of the park. If you want to get AI film news sent directly to your email inbox along with a free intro to AI filmmaking course, be sure to go over to Curious Refuge, hit the button in the top corner, and join our community. We would love to have you inside of the chat channel, and we love reviewing tools and sending goodies to you each and every week. And of course, if you want to get the latest tutorials and news directly here on the platform, be sure to like and subscribe. It helps a lot. Thank you so much for being an incredible member of the community. We'll see you in the next one.